Well, I thought I'd show you the cleanup operation after the tornado. I showed you a video with multiple trees down on my fence line, and where that excavator is right there is on my south fence line. He is probably just a few feet on the other side of my fence line, and he's just a few feet on the other side of of those power lines, maybe 20 feet on the other side of the power line. So he's real close to the power lines, taking special care not to hit them. This is the tree that fell over my driveway, blocked the entire driveway till we removed it. After a few hours we had it removed, and just a huge limb, probably 18 inches in diameter, that I just couldn't pick with my tractor, so we had to trim it off the driveway and then just save it for the big equipment to come pick it up, and they pick it up like it's nothing. More on the fence line, again the south fence line, pulling trees off of it. These are trees, the vast majority of these trees had fallen on the fence and had just crushed the fence. Fence has to be replaced, and these trees were just part of it. This is an old bodark tree, horse apple tree, that had pretty much died. Had a little bit of green in it, but I believe most of that green that's in it is vines and stuff, and not necessarily the alive tree. But it pushes it over. It doesn't push it over like it's nothing, but just can't believe how powerful that excavator is. You know, it's amazing. My tractor is about 70 horsepower, and I can pick up a couple of thousand pounds, 2,500 pounds or so. And this tractor is only like 200 horsepower, and it can pick up so many times more than my tractor can. I don't know. It's just, I don't know how they did the hydraulics or what they do. The rams are so big. The hydraulic rams are so much bigger and everything. Of course, the weight of the excavator itself weighs about 48,000 pounds, dry weight, and so it's a big one, and about a 30-inch bucket, maybe 32 to 36, I'd say, inch bucket on it with the thumb. Got to have that thumb to pick up stuff, and man, it's just really did an amazing amount of work on my property. But that's a 40-foot tree, probably, maybe 50. Dragging it toward a brush pile. Now we had five at one time. We had 5 brush piles going. Just really was a sight to see. 5 brush piles, pretty good sized brush piles. That's Cody. He's the project manager. Now he owns the fence company that's going to do the fencing, Cody's Custom Fencing. And he's going to do that, but he also was a manager over the land clearing. He contracted out the land clearing to Blackwell Excavation, but he's here to watch them, give them instruction, and just to make sure everything is clear enough so he can build fence on that south fence line. Also has a dozer. Blackwell brought out a dozer also, and they work together in tandem like a ballet. One of them, they read each other's minds. The excavator will sit there and pile stuff up, and the dozer will take it off. Sometimes the dozer will go off and bring a pile in close to the burn pile, and the excavator will be close to the burn pile, and he'll just pick it up as the dozer brings it to him. He'll pick it up, throw it on the fire. It's just really amazing to watch how these two work together. If you're wondering where the fence is, the dozer just crossed the fence line. He's on the other side of right on the fence line right there. pulled up a big piece of metal that a neighbor years ago had left, and it's about 3/8 of an inch thick, plate steel, and I am going to use that for something. So he put it over here, and I'll tell you what, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. I've added it to my metal pile. Some of Cody's help. Of course, these are fence builders. They're just kind of waiting on the progress so they can get started. Right here, apparently that excavator pulled up a tree, something that had a bunch of rats in it. They saw a rat running out in my garden, my tub garden there, and they just went crazy trying to catch that rat. And here's Sam. Sam caught a rat. Oh, yeah. Sam caught a rat, and it was a big rat. Another handful going on the front burn pile. This is the burn pile right on the front of the property. The very first thing I showed you in the video. Technique is to pile it high, pile it tall, and it just burns so better, kind of like a chimney effect. Get a hot fire on the base of it, and then just pile it high. You'll see a lot of burning in this video. 5 brush piles. Big hackberry tree on the fence line. In fact, I think this is one of the ones that had fallen over. But getting that down, getting that off the fence line and up to the burn pile. They signal each other with horn honks. The excavator just honked at the dozer driver, wants him to help him push that around away from that telephone pole while he pulls on it. Again, they just kind of know what each other is thinking. Honks at him again. That's enough. I was out watching them most of the time, and it was hot. 94, 95. Had a decent breeze most of the time, which helped. The cab on the excavator is air conditioned. The dozer is not. He suffered. Sometimes the excavator would break things off, break some of these limbs off with his bucket, but if it was expedient, he would just get them to come and cut. Dozer rolling that tree over and over. It's pretty cool. And that is a cedar tree. And if you don't know, cedar really burns well. It's got that rosin in it like a pine tree does or something. And when you put cedar on a fire, especially if you put cedar underneath on the bottom of a fire, man, it's going to go up, and it's going to go up quick. Watch this thing explode almost. The fire didn't hurt my fig trees, those 4 fig trees you see sitting pretty close to the fire, and I thought they might. I thought the fire might hurt them, but it didn't. This is going toward the middle burn pile. We're away from the front of the property now. This is a tree that was hanging over my little pond, and Cody cut it down. Said we probably shouldn't push it up because it might compromise the dam there. So he just cut it off and just picked it up. We'll leave the roots and the stump there for a while. Let it just rot out. This is a big oak tree that had been pushed over by the tornado and fell on my front fence. You can see the cars going by. That is on the front fence, and he's picking it off the fence so they can repair it. Still amazed at the lifting power and the strength of these excavators. And that's not a huge one. I mean, it's a big one, but it's not. I've seen some much bigger. That tree weighs well over a ton, probably 2 or 3 tons. Because it's still green, even though the leaves are dead. It you know, was only fell over about a month and a half ago, so it's still pretty green, which means it's pretty heavy. And I know you're asking why don't I use it for firewood. I've just got so many of those trunks. I usually cut them in about 10 foot, 8 foot, or 10 foot lengths, and I have just got so many of them laying there. So much firewood stored up is what I'm trying to say. I don't want to sell any. I'm just too old to get out there and cut to sell. And I just wanted this done, just wanted to get it out, and so they're burning all of it. Just while they're here, we're starting the fire, we're gonna get it done, they're just gonna burn it all. This is a tree that was actually right there on the fence line, as you can see, but is angling toward the road, hanging over the fence line. So I'm not sure I got the exact footage of it falling, but he took off a lot of limbs before he tried to pull it down, pull it back toward him to the right. Kind of enjoyable standing here watching it. My twin brother had showed up about that time, and he came down here with me, and we watched it a little while. Now they got to cut the backside, the left side, looking at it in this picture. Cut the backside so he can pull it back toward the excavator, because otherwise it's going to fall out in the road. It's tall enough to block some of the road. So they chewed on that for quite a while. Before it would fall. Yes, it's a live tree. The top had come out of it. That's why we're cutting it down, or taking it down. The top half of it was gone, and it was gonna die anyway. So instead of dying and falling on the road some night and somebody hitting it, just a better idea to take it down now while we can. Got the equipment, got the people to do it right, do it safe. The guy on the ground, Steven there, used to work for clearing pipeline, and he's had a lot of experience with trees, cutting down trees and removing trees, and really knew what he was doing really good. And that's my brother, and my brother's head looks a lot like mine. Like I say, we're twins. almost. Now I got nervous, and I guess I didn't hit the record button at the right time, but it came down, and there it is getting picked up. Gonna go put it on the pile. That was a big brush pile because I had already started some of that stuff in that brush pile. Has been there 2 years almost. And anyway, this is right on a little cross fence, falling over the fence there, and just a terrible tree, terrible location. I had them while they were here. I had them do a lot of things I call my honeydews that you know, not necessarily part of the insurance settlement, but I just paid out of pocket to have them do you know, about a day's worth of stuff. Some of these trees got a massive root system. If you're wondering what my soil is like, some of y'all say, boy, you've got beautiful soil. No, I don't. That's my soil, red clay. But I have built up my gardens with mulch, deep mulch over the years. But that's what my soil looks like right there, is that red clay. And I mean just inches down from the surface. Trying to shake the most of the dirt off so they can throw it in the burn pile, and it'll burn a whole lot better without dirt clinging to the roots. Won't get those roots burned up and all that. And what I told them, and if you're going to get any excavating done like this, and they're going to burn limbs and trees and things like that, here's what I told them is the same thing I told the guy years and years ago. I want everything burned up. And by that I meant, in fact, I told him I'm not going to write a check until the smoke clears and everything's gone, so that they understood. Now right about here he sees a snake and hollers at me, and I go get the shotgun, but I didn't get back quick enough. It went in the hole. More trees. These are pushed down right beside a hog pen. I used to raise hogs down there about, not quite 40 years ago maybe. It's got a concrete floor in it. It's now just for storage, but took those trees up down all the way around it because they were just sooner or later going to fall in on it. And there it is. And cutting some cedar trees down that are on the bank of that pond. That tree is a huge oak tree, dead right there on the fence line. All that growth to the left is the fence line. And he pushed that thing down just pretty as you please, without hurting the fence. This is that big tree that was on the driveway that limb fell across the driveway, and it took a little bit to push it down. He's already dug around it. You can see all the dirt, and he's pushing on it, trying to get her to go. There it goes. It's a big oak. I don't know exactly what kind of oak, blackjack maybe or something, but it's just a big tree. Bringing in the pipe, getting ready for the fence. I'm happy to see that. And getting that ready to start staging and cutting them into 10-foot lengths. He makes his corner posts, pull posts, 10 feet long. Drives them in the ground, drives them in the ground. This is that front burn pile the last night before they come back and bury it. It's about 20, probably 30 feet in diameter, probably 15 or 20 feet tall, and it burned all night just like this. I put a sprinkler just this side of it to make sure because the wind was blowing in this direction, make sure it didn't spread. Here it is the next morning, and you can see the power lines where all those trees were, just covering those power lines. There's the front pile. Now at this point they've already burned and buried all the other piles, all the other brush piles. He's burying this one, and he has to dig right now, digging the big hole, and I mean it's a big hole. He gets down probably 10 feet deep, barely, the bucket's way down in the ground when he gets through. And then he starts throwing stuff in it. And it is a cloud of dust and ash when the stuff starts going in that thing, in the hole. And what I have under my red clay is yellow clay. That is just hard yellow clay. One bucket he picked up and dumped out, it came out just in one big clump the size of that bucket. Didn't even break up. Now he's starting to throw it in the hole, starting to throw the burning pieces, because they're by no means burned up. I mean, some of them are still huge. Some of them are 2 feet in diameter. He's putting them down in that hole and getting it buried. Remember, when the smoke clears and there's nothing there, that's when you get a check. I suggest anyone that's thinking about doing land clearing, that's what you tell them. Make it very, very clear that you want everything gone. If that's what you want. You know, some of you may want a big brush pile, not to go to the expense of having them dig and burn it themselves or whatever. But I'm just saying, if you want it cleaned up, then that's what you need to tell them. When the smoke is cleared and there's nothing there, that's when I write you a check. Slide it down that dirt hill into the channel he dug out. Roll it off in there. And when they pile it up, when they're through and they pile it up, they do elevate it a little bit, because that hole right there, as everything burns and turns to ash, it's going to collapse a little bit. So they pile just a little extra on top to allow for that, to account for that. And they're good. They've done this so many years. That guy right there has been working for this company for 35 years, driving dozers and excavators. So knows what he's doing. And when you get a good operator on anything you're doing, any kind of machinery, kind of work you're doing, get somebody that's been doing it for a while, get you a good operator, man, they can get stuff done and do it like you want them to do it. Look at the cloud. Again, he's air conditioned, he's closed off. Sometimes he just has to back up so he can see. The smoke's all in his face and he just can't see what he's doing. And he had to back up a little bit and dig another little extra hole, because there's just a little bit more than what he thought. All that is just coals, hot coals, and ashes. And that will probably burn underground for months and months before it's out, unless the oxygen is choked out. I really think it's going to burn, probably, because I've had experience with that before, where I've covered them up, not near this deep, but where I've covered them up, and they burn for a long, long time. Got to dig a little extra hole for a little bit more stuff. And here's what it looks like now, after they've come in here and covered it up, pushed the excess dirt, those mounds of dirt, pushed them around with a dozer. You know, it's not perfectly level. I've got to come in here and with a box blade and with a landscape rake, and maybe rake a little bit with my grapple, and just smooth it out as nice as I can. But Mother Nature's going to smooth it out over the years too. Get some rain on it, that'll pack it down, that'll fill in. The rain washing some silt into holes and stuff will help fill it in. So it's just a matter of time before it looks really, really nice. but I'm quite happy with what we got done, what they did, and you know, I hate to lose a bunch of trees. And those, we had 2 trees they took down real close to the house that were just my favorite trees on the whole place. One was that big one on the driveway there, and one was real close to the house. But they were just dying, and it was just time to go. Had to go ahead and remove the trees because they were causing they were posing a problem for the house, for the fences, the new fences they're fixing to build. And I just didn't see any sense in building a new fence just below an old dead tree, a dead and dying tree. Let's put it that way. Wasn't crazy about doing it. Really hated to do it. My wife didn't want me to do it, but I hope she sees the value in the fact that they're gone and not going to pose a problem anymore. But anyway, looks good. We're really happy. If you're looking for somebody, if you're in East Texas and looking for somebody to do excavation work, and I'm sure they do it all, pond digging and everything, Black Whale Excavation is who I'm going to recommend. They are tops at this. Kevin Blackwell owns it. Been doing it for a long time. He started. I was told he started with an old 8N Ford tractor and a blade on the back of it. And again, looks great. I love the way it looks. Appreciate you watching. But this is the cleanup. The fence building will be in another installment. It's going to be extremely interesting, the fence building equipment that Cody has. So watch for that. In the meantime, we're gone.